Good morning. It's Monday, April 13, and this is Pam, and welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. We begin today's reading with the area deaths. Grace Radina Peterson Adamescu, born January 21, 1931, went to be with the Lord on April 7th. Following an extended illness, a private burial will be held in St. Peter's Cemetery on German Church Road. The Belleville Snyder Funeral Home is serving Grace's family. Norman H. Bowen, 82, of Galion, passed away Thursday at Mill Creek Nursing Center in Galion. A graveside service will be held at 2 p.m. Wednesday at Fairview Cemetery, Galion. Richardson Davis Chapel of Snyder Funeral Homes in Galion is honored to serve the family. Arcus Lambert, 81, of Mansfield, went home to be with the Lord on Wednesday. The family will observe private services. Arcus will be laid to rest at Franklin Cemetery. The Diamond Street home of Wapner Funeral Directors is honored to serve the Lambert family. George Matthew Locke Jr., 97, recently passed away on April 4. Arrangements are being handled by Baldwin Brothers Memorial Care Service, Inc. Dennis A. Denny Luther, 75, of Tionesta, Pennsylvania, passed away April 10th. Snyder Funeral Services is handling arrangements. Basil H. Manastra, 90, of Lexington, passed away April 9th. Arrangements by Snyder. Jamie Lynn Snyder Walls, born December 22, 1967, passed away in her sleep on April 10th. A public graveside funeral service will be held Thursday at 1 p.m. in Bunker Hill Cemetery. The family will receive friends the hour prior to the service. Bring your own seating to accommodate social distance guidelines. Those unable to attend are invited to view a recording of the service on Snyder Funeral Home website following the service. A public celebration of life will be held later this year. Andrew Michael Sorella, born February 19, 1988, passed away at his home on April 7th. Due to the coronavirus, a memorial service will be held at a later date in Toledo, Ohio. Joyce Ann Logan Swanger passed away on April 5th at the age of 83. Honoring Joyce's wishes for cremation, a celebration of life will be held in May with final burial with her husband. The Lexington Avenue Snyder Funeral Home is serving the family. Donna Jean Yarman, 75, of Ontario, Ohio, passed away Thursday at her home. A memorial service will be held for Donna's family and friends at a later date. The Ontario home of Wapner Funeral Directors is honored to serve the family. Daniel J. Zeitzer, 55, of Ontario, Ohio, passed away April 4th. Snyder Funeral Home Services is handling the arrangements. That concludes the Monday Mansfield News Journal area death notices. Now, for our first article. A wind advisory is issued for Richland and Crawford counties. 50-mile-an-hour gusts and thunderstorms likely, by Monroe Trombley, Mansfield News Journal. Strong damaging winds are expected Monday with gusts that could reach up to 50 miles per hour, the Cleveland office of the National Weather Service said. The Weather Service has issued a wind advisory for 19 counties, including Richland and Crawford, cautioning that winds could blow down tree limbs, causing a few power outages. The advisory, which predicts winds of 25 to 35 miles per hour, will be in effect from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday. Gusts could reach up to 60 miles an hour in the northern counties and 50 miles an hour in the southern counties. There's also a chance after 3 a.m. Sunday night for thunderstorms and between half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. On Monday, the National Weather Service predicts between 1/4 and 1/2 inch of rain will fall. Monday night will likely be mostly cloudy with a low around 30, the National Weather Service said. Wind is expected with gusts as high as 29 miles per hour. Our next article is titled Coronavirus in Ohio. 36 confirmed cases in Richland County, over 6,600 statewide, by Monroe Trombley, Mansfield News Journal. In Columbus, as of Sunday afternoon, at least 20 men and 16 women had tested positive for the novel coronavirus in Richland County, an increase in 2 cases from the day before. The state health department reported that 17 people have been hospitalized in Richland County. The majority of those infected fall within their ages of 40 to 49 and 60 to 69. One Richland County resident has died from the virus. John Dawson, 55, of Mansfield, died Wednesday after he tested positive in March. He had been a corrections officer since 1996 and worked at Marion Correctional Institution. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has said Dawson had underlying medical conditions that made him more susceptible to contracting COVID-19, the respiratory illness caused by the new coronavirus. Effective Friday, Ohio Department of Health added 2 categories to its statistics following guidelines from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, expanded case definition. Including probable cases, the number of known cases in Ohio rose by 354 to reach 6,604 on Sunday. The number of deaths as a result of the virus rose to 253, a small jump of 6. The state health department has classified 86 cases of coronavirus and 5 deaths as probable. DeWine did not hold a briefing Sunday, nor did he Saturday. A total of 63,243 tests have been administered according to state figures. Over 50% of those have tested positive for COVID-19, have been classified as white, 20% as black, and 19% as unknown. Again, that was 50% classified as white. For information, visit the following website: Ohio Department of Health coronavirus.ohio.gov and Center for Disease Control and Prevention at cdc.gov. People with questions about COVID-19 can call the Ohio Department of Health COVID-19 call center 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 1-833-4-ASK-ODH. That's 1-833-427-5634. The next article, Woman Fatally Stabbed, Suspect Faces Murder Charge, by Lou Whitmire, Mansfield News Journal. In Mansfield, a 46-year-old Mansfield woman who was stabbed multiple times Monday night has died. Bob Ball, Richland County coroner investigator, said Cindy Powell was pronounced dead at 12:51 p.m. Friday at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital. Ricky Porter, 55, of Mansfield, a suspect in the stabbing, turned himself in to authorities on Tuesday afternoon. Mansfield Police Captain Sherry Robertson said Friday that after consulting with the Richland County Prosecutor's Office, Porter will be served with a warrant on a charge of murder. This is the first homicide of the year, Robertson said. Mansfield police responded to 354 Altamont Avenue at 11:59 p.m. Monday in reference to a disturbance, according to a news release from Robertson. While en route to the location, officers were told that a woman had been stabbed. Upon arrival, patrol officers found Powell lying in the street, suffering from multiple stab wounds, according to police reports. Several individuals who were around Powell immediately identified Porter as her attacker. Powell was transported to an area hospital for treatment. Officers attempted to find Porter, who had fled on foot prior to their arrival, but could not. A felony warrant on a charge of felonious assault was initially issued for Porter's arrest in reference to this attack, according to Robertson, and he surrendered to authorities the next day. Ball said Powell's body will be taken to the Montgomery County Medical Examiner's Office for an autopsy. Mansfield police are asking that anyone who may have additional information regarding this crime call Major Crimes Detective J. Mark Perry at 419-755-9730. Our next article, titled Advocates Fear Coronavirus Will Widen Income Gap in Ohio. Rita Price and Mark Ferenchik, the Columbus Dispatch. There are no paychecks and no work-from-home arrangements for the cooks, retail clerks, warehouse packers, and idle Uber drivers pulling into the parking lot at New Salem Baptist Church. Some are awaiting unemployment compensation, and some aren't eligible. Most have little savings. All have no choice now but to line up for free food, a step the coronavirus pandemic has imposed on low-income households throughout the nation with dizzying speed. I've never had to go to a food pantry in my life. This just went really fast, said Chanel Gray, a Northside Columbus resident laid off last month from her job at a hotel. I was able to pay my rent for this month, she said, as volunteers packed groceries into her car at the church in Columbus, Leiden neighborhood. May is the struggle. Coronavirus for Easter and beyond. Licking County churches strive for personal connection. Chanel Gray, who lost her hotel job due to the coronavirus outbreak, gives instructions to volunteer Carrie Sullivan where to place her food while doing a pickup at the Bread of Life food pantry run by the New Salem Baptist Church. For Chanel, it was her first time visit to a food pantry, April 8th. Advocates for vulnerable workers and communities say the shutdown quickly revealed gaps in safety net programs and is threatening to deepen income inequality, a measure that's grown steadily worse in the United States for years. They also say policymakers face crucial decisions about where and how to direct massive federal stimulus packages so that recovery, whenever it comes, doesn't disproportionately benefit wealthy households and corporations well positioned to rebound. We have a choice about what kind of recession and how deep and how bad this is going to get, said Hannah Halbert, executive director of the union-supported think tank Policy Matters Ohio. Support local journalism. Subscribe to the Newark Advocate today. If the public holds election officials accountable, then I think that we have a real chance of mitigating the worst harms to families and to Main Street, she said. We could come out of this with a more equitable economy. My fear is that this won't happen. Many of those who turned to New Salem last week said they want to believe there will be sustained focus on their plight. Even in good times, they struggle to obtain health coverage and wages that allow them to meet basic expenses. The sudden need for unemployment checks and emergency aid, along with difficulty reaching overwhelmed government websites and phone lines. Some unemployed workers say they call nearly 100 times a day, make it hard to have faith. I'm basically a hunter-gatherer right now, says Brad Sutton, an artist and Uber driver on the Near East Side whose fairs are gone and art shows canceled. Over the past 3 weeks, nearly 17 million unemployment claims have been filed across the county, wiping out more than a tenth of the nation's jobs. In Ohio, 226,007 claims were filed for the week ending April 4. That pushes the state's 3-week total past 696,000, representing about 12% of jobs. The tally wrought by efforts to halt the spread of COVID-19 illness has already topped that during the height of the Great Recession in 2009, when 10% of the job force, more than 15 million, were out of work. Meanwhile, economic inequality worsened in the recovery after that time. A Pew Research Foundation study in 2016, for example, found that wealth gaps between upper and middle income families and lower income families were at the highest levels recorded, with the median wealth of lower income families 42% less than 2007. Adam Troy, Director of Missions for New Salem's Community of Caring Development Foundation, said he worries this downturn will push struggling households in poor and minority neighborhoods even further behind. Utility shutoffs might be paused for now, but the bills will come due. Eviction courts will reopen. Our emphasis has to shift towards the policy considerations of what comes next, he said. How do we ensure that they don't slip back into a hole they can never recover from? More. Coronavirus bottleneck preventing Licking County residents from accessing unemployment. Daniel Carroll, senior research economist for the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, said how long it takes to get the economy moving again is the critical question, especially for low-income families. The longer this goes on, the more and more pressure these households will feel, he said. Jennifer Clark, head of the City and Regional Planning section of Ohio State University's Knowlton School College of Engineering, and who teaches economic development, said a crisis such as this exposes how fragile an economy too reliant on contingent and temporary work, the so-called gig economy, might have really been. If an Uber driver stops working on March 20, how do they get through to the middle of May, she said. When you look at an economy that can't do that, one has to wonder how firm the footing was in the first place. Even before the crisis, many people didn't have enough set aside to cover a $400 emergency, said Kathy Steele, the executive director of the Mid-Ohio Workers Association, a group of service, domestic, and other low-paid workers. Gig workers, temporary workers, weren't prepared to be out of work, Steele said. Every day is about surviving. Topic: an uncertain future. Business owners who employ service workers, such as Michelle Allen, are also trying to survive. She owns the Memlo Cafe, a candy and coffee store at the corner of Vine and North Wall Street near the North Market. She had 9 workers before the pandemic. She now has 2, including herself. Easter week should be among her busiest week, but not this year. I'm doing what I can for delivery only. It's 13% of what we normally do, said Allen, who was preparing Easter orders for a Polaris area cafe. Are we going to have the money in place to get our business up and running, she said. Most restaurants I know won't have the cash reserves. Lisa Gutierrez owns Dos Hermanos taco truck, often parked outside 7th Son Brewery on North 4th Street in Italian Village. She has concession stands at Mapfre Stadium and the Greater Columbus Convention Center and space at the North Market. But now just 1 truck heads out, and she's gone from 21 employees to 9. I don't know what business is going to come back, Gutierrez said. Households are awaiting stimulus checks from the federal government, which max out at $1,200 per worker and in some cases might not arrive for months. If you're already 2 to 3 months behind, you've spent that just thinking about it, said Victor Peoples, family liaison at Central Community House, a social service nonprofit on the East Side. The agency is providing all the aid it can, but Peoples doesn't know how long he can keep up. How many families, how many moms and dads do you think are crying tonight, scared about what's next, he said. We're behind the scenes crying too, saying, how can we get more to do more? Our next article is called Business Briefs. Myers appointed to the board of DD. In Mansfield, Tara Myers has been appointed by the Richland County Commissioners to the New Hope Richland County Board of Development Disabilities. She has the opportunity to serve on the board for up to 3 4-year terms. It's an honor to be chosen to serve on the Richland County Board of Development Disabilities, Myers said. I'm excited to collaborate with our board and community to ensure an inclusive environment of options for all citizens. Tara is a member of Mansfield Alliance Church and is a mentor mom at Berean Baptist Church MOPS program. She serves as a state and national parent advocate for education freedom, specifically for children with special needs. In 2011, Tara helped with the passage of the John Peterson Special Needs Scholarship. In 2012, she started the Unique Learning Lab for children with special needs at Mansfield Christian School. While directing the program, she also taught social and life skill classes. Tara is featured along with her son Samuel and daughter Lindsay in a documentary featuring Samuel's education journey titled Tara and Sam. Tara and Samuel have taken their story and fight for education freedom to the Ohio State House as well as the Capitol in Washington, D.C., most recently meeting with President Donald Trump. Tara currently does consult work with the American Federation for Children based out of Washington, D.C. Topic: Mechanic Bank announces promotions. In Mansfield, Mechanics Bank recently promoted several employees to Assistant Secretary Treasurer. Joanna Beer joined Mechanics in 2014 as a customer service representative and was later promoted to customer service specialist. She served as an accounting intern before her most recent position as staff accountant. She has a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration from The Ohio State University. Ariel Cox joined Mechanics in 2017 as a CSR and was later promoted to Customer Service Specialist. She currently serves as a Senior Customer Service Specialist. Andrew Dinger joined Mechanics in 2017 as a CSR. He was later promoted to Staff Accountant. Andrew has a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting from Heidelberg University. Joy Howard joined Mechanics in 2015 as a CSR. She was later promoted to a senior CSR position. She currently serves as a customer service specialist. Joy has a Bachelor's of Science from Indiana Wesleyan University. Kayla Kraus joined mechanics in 2015 as a CSR. Kayla was promoted to Customer Service Specialist before her current position as Answer Center Specialist. Kayla earned her Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Thomas Edison State College. Tiffany Smith joined mechanics in 2015 as a CSR. Tiffany was promoted to Customer Service Specialist prior to her current position of Senior Customer Service Specialist. Darlene Witzke joined mechanics in 2012 and serves as an Answer Center Specialist. New topic. Aubrey Them joins Sluss Realty. In Mansfield, Aubrey, I believe it's Tim, has joined Sluss Realty. An Ontario high school graduate, Tim attended the Art Institute of Pittsburgh studying interior design. Aubrey is the designer behind Aubrey Tim Interiors, a residential interior design studio serving Northeast Ohio. She is also the founder of the Interior Foundry, a collection of web-based design courses, DIY workshops, and renovation resources for homeowners. Aubrey lives in Ontario with her husband Jordan and their 2 children. Our next article is titled, Shelby Farmer Loses $350,000 of Equipment in a Barn Fire by Andrew Carter, Mansfield News Journal. A Shelby area farmer lost about $350,000 worth of equipment and tools in a barn fire early Saturday morning. The Shelby Fire Department and 5 other departments responded to the blaze at 1:38 a.m. on Saturday at 5506 West Smiley Road, west of Shelby. A spokesperson for SFD said the barn and all of its contents were destroyed. Officials said Mildred Schroeder is the property owner. The department's spokesperson said the barn itself had an estimated value of $50,000 and the contents had an estimated worth of about $300,000. No one was injured in the blaze, Shelby fire officials said. The barn was used to house farm equipment and also served as a repair shop. Officials said Schroeder stored numerous pieces of equipment and vehicles in the barn. All of the items were lost in the fire, including 2 tractors, a tow motor, a boat, a trailer, riding lawn motor, motorcycle, and an assortment of tools. A truck outside the building was also destroyed by the fire. In addition to Shelby, firefighters from Springfield Township, Tiro Auburn, Plymouth, Shiloh, and Crestline responded to the call. No firefighters were injured. Our next article is titled Fredericktown Author Pens Fantasy/Adventure Novel by Mark Caudell, Mansfield News Journal. In Fredericktown, any author would be thrilled to find a publisher, even more so if English was the author's second language. Such is the case for Fredericktown resident Albina Ramey, a native of Ukraine. Her new book, Maya in the Nimbus Valley, comes from Austin Macaulay Publishers of New York City. Released March 31st, the book is being marketed as a young adult fantasy/adventure novel. Ramey said it would appeal to adults as well as teenagers. Maya is a special 11-year-old girl diagnosed with scoliosis as a baby. She is nevertheless a spunky, impulsive dreamer who decides to meet with her mother, who has been separated from her earthly domain. It's very easy to read, but it has meaning. Ramey said it's about dreams of the kids who have disabilities. Maya has never known her mother, but she discovers her mother in a spirit flora of the earth. She comes to Maya in her human form and takes her to a hidden place created by Mother Nature as the last refuge for forgotten spirits. While there, Maya visits the Season Palace, elements, and Mother Nature herself. She gets slowly woven in the plot, Ramey said. Maya faces great challenges, but she soldiers on with the help of some old Russian folklore figures, as well as the spirits of winter, snowy, windy, and frosty. Maya's life in Nimbus becomes an unexpected adventure where she finds herself in the middle of a plot created by Spirit's great enemy, Almighty Time. I gave Maya the opportunity to live her dream, Ramey said. Ramey, 49, got to live her dream when she came to the United States in 1999. She and husband Wayne have a 19-year-old daughter, Crystal. Ramey went to Central Ohio Technical College and later became a surgical technician. When I went to college, That's where my language began to grow, she said. I'm using a lot of expressions from my college. Inspirations for Maya in the Nimbus Valley included nature and philosophy, two of Ramey's loves. She is an avid reader. My difficult part of being an immigrant is writing. I'm still afraid to write things, Ramey said. I'm not saying I'm a writer. I'm just a storyteller. Being published with English as a second language is a big deal, Ramey said. She credits her niece, Jessica Ramey Colecci, an English teacher, with editing the book. She did a wonderful job. She has a really patient manner, Ramey said. Ramey is also grateful to Austin Macaulay Publishers for giving her book the chance to reach a wider audience. Ramey's first book was self-published. She already has ideas for 2 sequels to Maya, as well as another book outside the series. I've got so much in my mind, Ramey said. That's why getting a publisher was so important to her. Well, our next article is titled Belleville Declares a State of Emergency for COVID-19 Pandemic by Mark Caudill, Mansfield News Journal. Add Belleville to the growing list of Richland County towns declaring states of emergency in response to the coronavirus. Village Council held a virtual meeting on Tuesday to vote on the measures, which passed unanimously. We declared those portions of the Ohio Revised Code which are applicable to be in full force and effect in the county for the exercise of all necessary emergency authority for the protection of lives and property of the people of Richland County and the restoration of the local government with a minimum of interruption, the declaration said. Council President Josh Epstein explained the declaration. The Belleville Council does not believe that our residents have any reason to panic, and that is not the intention of this declaration, he said by email. Under the recommendation of the Ohio Municipal League, we have taken this measure as a precaution that would serve to protect potential benefits and assistance that may be offered to our residents and businesses in the future by various entities. Other Richland County towns making such a declaration include Shelby, Mansfield, and Lexington. Like Belleville, Lexington's council members voted on the measure. Shelby and Mansfield's mayor made declarations on their own. Council voted to end the state of emergency on December 31st, if not sooner. All citizens are called upon and directed to comply with necessary emergency measures, to cooperate with public officials and disaster service forces in executing emergency operation plans, and to obey and comply with the law directions of properly identified officers, the declaration says. We're just trying to keep everything moving as smoothly as possible, Epperson said. Belleville has a number of small businesses. For the most part, everybody's holding their own. Mayor Terry Brenkus said, some are thriving. If they already had a delivery service, they seem to be doing even better. One positive is Elsie Milling and Trade, which has been ruled essential and has stayed open. It is one of the village's top employers. Sit-in diners and hair salons have suffered. Hopefully we can get these businesses open as soon as possible, Epperson said. Brenkus and Epperson emphasized the Valley does a good job of taking care of its own, especially in a crisis. The mayor wanted to credit business owners who have discouraged gatherings, often at their own expenses. No one has put profit before safety, Brenkus said. They want to make sure our community gets through this as one, which I am very proud of. Well, my friends, this concludes our reading of the Mansfield News Journal for Monday, April 13th, 2020. This is Pam saying, please, during these difficult times, try to keep safe.